So you want to bid farm on Blur. In this video, I'm going to break down the tips, tricks, and tactics that I use to get Blur bid points. So hopefully I can get a bigger and better Blur airdrop. Now, first up, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Bidding on projects is very risky because people can accept them at any point in time. So your capital is at risk. Please make sure your risk tolerances are up to par when it comes to what you actually want to do with Blur bid farming. Now, first up, what you can do is hit on collections and then go to your wallet top right here. Now, you need to add funds to your bid pool. So I'm just going to add 0.15. I've already got 1.7 in there. This is just a little bit of a demonstration. Now, I'll hit accept here. Now, because it is an on-chain transaction, it will take a moment to kick in. Now, a good amount to have is around 2 ETH because you can then put on a lot of bids. 2 ETH is a very good kind of price to put in at. So I'd say that if you've got 2 ETH, you're going to have get some good numbers up on the charts. And the transaction is almost complete. Now, I'm also going to run this in real time. Oh, transaction just went through. I'm going to run this in real time so you can just see how you can actually blur the points, like sort of farm the points. Now, what you can do is you're going to hit on collections. Now, you actually want to look at what's happening on the 1 day volume, and this is essentially by default on Blur, so it's fine with whatever's up top, but you want to look at that. That's where the maximum points are given to the projects that are doing the best 1 day volume. Now, if you actually have a look at the floor price, we've got 1.87, so we can see Gitcoin. We can put in bids on this because we've got more than the floor price. Now, what I'm looking at here is the fact that you've got a size of 171, but you've only, oh, okay, it just popped up, another person put in a bid. So this one will get accepted relatively soon, 0.49. But the idea is what we're looking at here is we're looking at sort of the size of 171. So we're going to put in a bid of 0.48 and just tap plus until we get to the point. Now, I can't confirm a bid of 1.9, so we're going to do 1.44 because we've only got 1.87 in there. We're going to continue. MetaMask dialog box pops up. Hit approve, sign, and then we should be good. And then what we'll notice shortly is that our bid will actually pop up in the system and you'll actually see it there. So what you'll notice here is we've got 3 open, 3 executable. The floor price is sort of 0.49. We've got, so yeah, that guy got triggered. Now it's us and 9 other people, and there are 330 approximate that can be triggered. So that's fine. Now what we're going to do now is go in and have a look at what some of the other collections are. But first we're going to jump in and just get a baseline. So our baseline is 8.99 points. And I'm going to throw up a timer right now so you can see. So we're going to go to collections and then going through having a look at the floor price. We can see here that other deed, we can't just quite hit other deed. That would have been good, but only force we can, 1.28. So 1.92, that other deed's a good one to farm on, but only force will kind of do that because those floor prices are in line with what we can actually bid on to get up the top. Now you get the most amount of points for being right up the top of the bids. Now what we're actually going to do here is we can see a size of 191, 7 bidders. And then what you can also have a look here is the activity, the action that's happening. So over a sort of a 1 hour period, there will be sort of maybe sort of 10 or 15 sales. So it's fine. And there's over that 5 minute period, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 6. So we can see here is that even if we put in a bid now with 7 bidders, and then also a size of 191, it's unlikely that we'll get triggered within a 5 minute period. So let's put on a bid of 1.26, confirm that bid, hit all the approvals and transactions. Also, this dialog box that pops up is Pocket Universe, a really great tool. I'd highly suggest it. And then you can see we're up there with 7 other bidders. Go back to collections. What we're going to do now is go down Opepen, click on this, see what it's like. We can see the activity. So over a 5 minute period, there are a lot of sales that are kind of moving through. And then when we have a look at the bids, the top bid of 4 with 3 bidders, this is a no-go because it's very, over a 5 minute period, it will get triggered. You could go the second one, but it is a little bit sketchy with those 19 people and the fact that it is moving relatively fast. So I would avoid this as a bid farming opportunity at this point in time. Now we're going down to something else. Widow Ghost Gang, 0.46, we can bid on this. So we'll have a look at the action that's actually going on. We can see over a 3 hour period, perfect. This is good, this looks great. There's not too many that are happening. so it means that less bids are being accepted. When we have a look here, we can see the top guy, he's going a little bit reckless, a little bit hard, one bid at 0.47. He'll most likely get accepted when people want to actually put in. But number 2, 0.46, perfect, it's looking good. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to throw a bid in on the 0.46. So let's pump in a 0.46. We'll hit in 3. Actually, we'll hit in 4. And then we'll do that, because we've got the balance, confirm that bid. Now, because we've got this bid going through, we are going to start to need to check these bids and how they're performing in relation to the floor price and the activity. It's something you will need to do. But for the moment, let's keep going through and throw on another bid. Now, MG Land, I have done a whole bunch of farming on MG Land, so this is not a bad one to go on. Perfect, look at this, 28,000, 41 bidders, so it's a relatively safe bid to put on. And then when we have a look at the item activity, sure, there are, that was a big whale that was dumping there. And so, yeah, it looks like a good one to kind of put it on because we're relatively safe that we're not going to get triggered anytime soon. So 0.13, and just hit the plus button until it gets to what your threshold is with your bid pool. So put that in. Now you will get a little dialog box saying your bid's higher than floor price. Don't freak out if it's higher than floor price. This is where you get the most amount of points. As long as you're in a group of people as long as you're just not the solo person, it's very low risk that you're going to get actually kind of bid on. Now let's go to airdrop. Let's hit refresh. Now we can see after about that 5-minute period, you'll have to have a look at the clock. We can see 9.14. So we're making about that sort of sort of that 0.1 over that 5-minute mark, which is not bad. That's good. I'll take that. Let's go back to collections, see what's happening. Checks. This is good, 1.3. We've got enough in our wallet to go. So let's have a look here. 17, plenty of action, good. And like I said, sometimes looking at the sellers to see if there are big groups of whales selling what's happening, because it's smart to kind of have a look at the seller as well if you see some sales. When we have a look at the bids, we can see the bid, if you want to be risky, you could do a 1.34, but I think what we're going to do is we're going to go a 1.33 just to be safe, because all it takes is one person coming through with a few, you'll be good, and well, you won't be good. You'll get your thing wiped out and liquidated. And the fact there's only 3 bidders, all it takes is 1 or 2 of these people to delist, relist, and then you're back up the top. So what we need to do is we need to kind of have a look and keep an eye on what's actually happening with the 1.34 because of the size. Like, you could actually do it. You need to stay very across it and you could farm it hard, but we're just being safe because this is a video, because I'm going to be distracted making the video, talking through it, all of that. Just something to be very careful of. Now, if we actually head back to airdrop, we can also see where we're positioned. So we can see we're also positioned at around that 5K mark, which is crazy. Now, this is what you need to get into a habit of doing. Head over to your bids. Hit bids. See where we're sitting? Up, we're sitting there, back, we're good. Only force. Hit on bids, where are we? We're 1 of 5. Have a look at the activity. Okay, there's been 3 sales that have accepted the 1.6. We're 1 of sort of 5 bidders. Okay, you know what? Let's sort of cancel that bid because we're getting close. It could take a couple of those 5 bidders to see that delist, then we're up the top of the list. We could get triggered. Let's have a look. Gitcoin, we can see, a lot of sales have come through. We're 1 of there. Okay, cool. Bang, out. Done. Once you see that action, you need to be on top of it. You need to be actively looking at this again and again. Having a look through, okay, we're fine for Weirdo Ghost Gang. There has been a sale about a minute ago, but that's fine. We're good. MG Land, yep, fine, sweet, cool. Yep, all good. What we're going to do, back to collections and go again. Now, what we're going to do here is have a look. Beans. Beans are usually good. With beans, we are able to, if you do get triggered on beans, it's not bad because Azuki, the Azuki ecosystem, it's not terrible. So you can see here, like that top one of 0.39, you could do all right on that, but it is a little bit risky. So let's do the 1.38. If I was going to be sitting there watching transactions, then you should be fine. But all it takes is 4 sales and you're gone, you're wiped out. So let's not do that. That's why we're going to be safe, play a little bit conservative. There are no hard numbers when it comes to bidders and size because it's so variable when it comes down to bidders, size, what's actually happening with the amount of sort of activity, things like there are so many different things. I have no hard and fast rule. I just like to make sure that the risk tolerances aren't bad over a sort of 30-minute period. If it looks good over a 30-minute period, then we're fine. Now, just to show you what happens when things do go bad. If you head to portfolio and activity, you can see down here, MG Land, I actually had one triggered at the 0.18, waited an hour and then sold it at, accepted a bid at 0.17. It was a 0.01 loss plus fees, etc. Same thing with Pudgy's, got a little bit too cocky, went a little bit too hard, right up the top, 0.45, two of them were triggered, and then sold them an hour later, accepted the bid at 0.53, so that was a 0.02 loss plus fees. Checks. This was got a little bit too close, a little bit hairy. A whale came through, accepted a whole bunch of offers. I got wiped out. 1.55, waited that hour, and then back accepted an offer at 1.53. So Blur has a 1 hour limit for anything that's transferred. So you can't just have a bid accepted, get the NFT, and then accept another bid straight away. You do need to actually wait that 1 hour period. But if you're in these top projects and there is enough action within those top few bids, you're then fine and you can usually offload it again. Having a look at Beans, what's kind of going on. We're fine with Beans. Back to checks. How are we going with checks? Yep, we're fine with that. Weirdo Ghost Gang, how we here? Okay, so that person's going to get triggered. We're fine. MG Land, yep, cool, MG Land. I like to check all of them again and again, even though MG Land's got a lot, you don't want someone to come through, delist a whole bunch, and then you're left holding a bag. Now we can see our bid points. We've gone up to 9.24. So at the moment, we're currently getting sort of 0.1 bid points per 5 minutes, which isn't bad. And we don't have any crazy big risks going on. We've had a little bit of a few hairy, sketchy situations, but we're fine, we're good. So that is actually what's happening. We're getting a decent amount of Blur bid points per 5 minutes. So extrapolate that over an hour, we should be good. Now what we can actually do, and also you can see your position here. We're at 5 something before. We're now at 4,820. And it's a 24-hour rolling leaderboard, so this kind of just trickles over and keeps going on and on over every 24-hour period. Anyway, back to collections. Going through, having a look, see what we can find here. Just looking at the floor price. Mochaverse, let's see how this is. There are a decent amount of sales that have kind of gone on in that 20-minute period, but the spread is a little bit too hairy for us, so let's continue on. Having a look down here, I look at the floor price because floor price is better than bid price, because if you've got enough to cover the floor, you've definitely got enough to cover the bid. Let's go to Owls, check Owls. Okay, and you can see here 0.07, not bad, enough bidders, enough size. Let's go 0.07 and then just hit that plus until we get to our bid pool threshold, and then you can just see a whole bunch of sales just went through on OpenSea. Going through, and yep, there we go. Dialog box, accept that, we should be fine. Cool, bids. Now let's head back to the collections section. Actually, real quick, what I want to show you is you do need to keep an eye on the sellers. Like you can see, someone a whale came through and accepted a whole bunch of offers. This is what I mean by you can get wiped out. So with 26 bidders, with 360, it seems somewhat of a safer bet. But if there were like 3 bidders and only sort of a size of 5, you could easily get wiped out quite fast. So this is why I like that good size and bidder ratio. The bidder ratio is good because if you've only got one bidder but you've got a huge size, they can delist and then you're up the top. The more bidders you have, the more chance that you won't be up the top of it. Having a look at season, we can see here that over 9 minutes, it's not bad. We can place it up here and be semi-confident. So yes, with 12 bidders, 9 people could then sort of cancel their things and you're still decently ahead. If there's only like 2 or 3 bidders, you can then be in a position where you're then up the top of the ladder next in line to have your bids accepted. So you've got to keep that in mind when you're actually kind of looking at it. So a good bidder and size ratio to actually get the points, but then be safe when it comes to the sort of the offers being accepted and triggered. Now, back onto this grind, see what's happening. Put out, we've got a bid. Okay, well, no, let's get rid of that. Yeah, there was way too much activity happening just then, so I want to get that off. And then we'll have a look at the rest of them. MG Land, how are we going here? No, fine, perfect with MG Land, we're good. Season, what are we going here? Yep, all right, cool. MG Land again, yeah. Weirdo Ghost Gang, let's go through. We're decent here in terms of sales. No, fine, we're all right. Checks, let's see how this is. Oh, yep, we're fine here. Something I want to also point out is keeping an eye on the sales as well, like the sales chart, and just seeing what's happening. We can see here that checks over the past 7 days has been trending down. So it does mean that if you do have your bid accepted, there is a chance that it's trending down. And if you're not on it, you could then be left holding somewhat of a bag. But there are a decent amount of bids here that if you were accepted at the sort of 0.34, you can offload it at the 0.33 relatively easy. So you're kind of not in too much of a bad spot. Let's head to the airdrop, see how we are going with our points. You can see the timer on the screen here. Bang, there we go, 10.2. So we're doing quite well. Let's actually head to our bids and let's just cancel them up just so you kind of know that, hey, this is what we've done, because I'm going to wrap the video up. I just want to cancel the bids. Don't want to keep them on and then forget. So yeah, the bid points, we ended up getting up to sort of 10.28, which is good. So it's a 1.3-ish gain, 1.2, 1.3-ish gain, which I think is quite good over this time frame period. So that's sort of like 15-20 minutes, which isn't bad, and extrapolating that, you can be good. Now this is the final tally. We've got 10.28 points, so we're up 1.2, 1.3, and then we're also at position 2,800, and we were at position 5,000 plus. So this can also show you that you are kind of increasing and doing quite well. Now I'm going to talk about the video sponsor, FrankenDAO. FrankenDAO is a DAO with over $1 million worth of assets under management, including 4 CryptoPunks. The DAO is stacked with features like an E3 funder, so stakers don't lose money when they're staking, a delegation feature that allows passive members to actually have a say, a council so whales can't rug the assets. FrankenDAO is legally registered as an unincorporated non-profit association. This gives the DAO legal clarity and allows the DAO to operate freely in the US, which is good for those US NFT holders. Now down below I've got all the links for FrankenDAO, so definitely go check it out. And full disclosure, I actually hold some FrankenPunks that are actually staked within FrankenDAO. As you would have seen, it is very hard. You need to be on the ball, you need to be monitoring, you need to be going hard. But hopefully this shows you my process, the way that I'm thinking about it, the way that I go through it to get points. I've only got 10 points because I only like to do it when I've got 100% attention. I don't want to be on calls, I don't want to be watching TV, I don't want to be doing anything. I want to be there monitoring it, monitoring everything to make sure that we are good and you're actually getting a decent amount of, you want to be getting the good amount of points, but you also want to be having your attention there, so when stuff starts to move, stuff starts to roll, you can then delist those, because as soon as one of your bids gets accepted, you're essentially in for a 1 hour waiting period for it to trickle over. It's not necessarily bad because you can then list it floor, be kind of getting loyalty scores that way, get some volume with the sale itself, but it is a very sort of, not sketchy, but it's a very labor intensive thing. You need to kind of make sure you have your coffee, make sure you're on it to kind of max those points out. Yes, I'm not the best. I'm not like Matchy. I don't have 100,000 bid points, but at least hopefully this gives you a bit of a chance to actually farm points in a safer manner, and hopefully it kind of lets you know what actually is possible, how it works, because there's a lot of not misinformation out there, but there's a lot of information that isn't well thought out, isn't well documented. So hopefully this kind of helps you out. If you found value in this video, scroll down there, hit up that subscribe button, and while you're down there, also hit up the like button. As always, it's been a pleasure having you with me. I look forward to seeing you in the next one.